Sir Duncan the Tall. Aerion would like your head.
Maybe the gods figure this is what I deserve.
Come on, little knight.
And so, I ask you again, how good a knight are you?
Bealor Targaryen. I think this was very interesting to see him in the new trailer, especially. You know, one of the interesting things and one of the most unique things we're going to unpack is the fact that Bealor Targaryen had black hair. You know, you're seeing him in the pictures, you see him as Hand of the King. You know, he is the Hand of the King and the son, heir to the throne to his father, Daeron, King Daeron. And, you know, it's fascinating because normally we look at Targaryens, they have white hair. They're known for having white hair. That's a big thing. You know, it was more of a pride for the Targaryens. You know, and that was specifically a big thing in House of the Dragons. You see a lot of the family House of the Dragons. You know, you see that's why they laugh at Rhaenyra's kids. You see them with black hair and they're like, you know. But I think in this particular time now, I feel like they've got used to it. You can see that's why, you know, Baelor is doing it with, you know, he's doing it with chest. You know, he's Hand of the King, he got black hair and he's repping it proud. You know, he's a bit older now, so you see him with his grey hair. But you see the transition. And that could do with a lot of the battle that we see after Dance of the Dragons. You know, the calamity and the fall of the House of the Dragons and the way they go back and forth with each other. That, you know, a lot happens through that. You know, the Civil War, the breakage of the Civil War really causes a lot in that house. So Baelor's a very interesting character in the books. You know, Baelor's known to be very, very friendly. You know, he's a people's man. You know, you get two sides of the Targaryens. You get the good Targaryens, the one that are, you know, the people love him. You know, your Daenerys, King Viserys, you know. And then you get the ones that are just completely different. Aerion, Viserys, as in Daenerys, his brother. So, you know, Baelor plays a big role in this particular series. You know, and we have to first touch on the hair. How did it get to this point where we now have Targaryens with black hair a lot? The black hair for him comes from the fact that his father, King Daeron, ended up marrying Marion, who was a Martell. You know, and this was Princess Marion, by the way. So this was a big thing, given the fact that, you know, the Martells at that particular time, in general, they really were part of now, at that particular point, now part of the realm. She had been married into, and now married in and added within the kingdoms ruled under the king. So this is where we see the genetic pool starts to broaden out from just the white hair. And that's something that Baelor carries. It's very interesting because Baelor, he has a brother in Maegor. He looks a bit older than him, but he's actually younger than him. So you can imagine he would be after him. He ends up anyway, but he would then be the direct heir to the throne if, of course, Baelor has no kids. And if Baelor was even king in the first place. So you can see the transition. Now, what's interesting is that you can see in the trailer, you know, he mentions how he tells Duncan, look, they want your head. And when we mean they, we're referring to Aerion. Aerion being his nephew. The spoiled one. There's always a spoiled one. You know when you had your Joffreys, you know, you need someone like that to just rile up the scenes. So that is a big role that Baelor takes as the mediator and being able to sort this whole situation out, because a big row happens between Duncan and Aerion, which he's in the middle of. You know, he takes a big role as Hand of the King and has to deal with these matters. And you will see in the future how he has to even get himself involved. Aerion gets himself involved because of the whole trial that they end up having in the course of, you know, this whole series going forward. So you can see how much of an impact this will make. I think what's very interesting about this thing overall is the fact that, close your ears, but he ends up having tragedy, so he doesn't really get to outlive his chance to really be king the way we expect him to do, because, you know, he's destined to be king, but things happen at the end. which makes it very, very interesting where this goes. But thus far, we see how important his character will be in the shortcoming of, I would say, particularly this season, especially this season. We'll see where this goes in this whole matter. And we can't wait.